What up, though, Detroit? Hello, world, and welcome to a bonus episode of Detroit Bicycle, where we are all about the love, benefits, art, culture, food, and the people we meet on bikes here in Detroit and beyond. As always, on the mic, on the board, we have Mr. Bobby Brown. What up, though?
What up, though, people? We back for one secretive last episode here.
And, of course, Bruno can't forget.
Hey, what's up, guys?
The man in the streets.
You know, what's the deal, Harry? What's up, Bobby? Good to see you, man.
Always in these streets.
Always.
So we have to give a very warm, heartfelt thank you to Mr. Ben Kehoe for providing our space today. We're at Bikes and Coffee, recording in front of a live audience. Thank you all for showing up today.
Very excited, man.
Yes. Super excited because this is like the collabo of collabos of podcasts,
actually,
vlogs, blogs, featuring our man on the mic here joining us today, Mr. Carlos Parisi. Welcome.
What's going on, man?
Thank you so much for joining
Shout out,
us,
man.
Carlos.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, shout out to
We
Carlos.
really appreciate you coming out.
Thank you guys very much. Yeah, this being a Detroit Bicycle podcast and a collab with Sandwich Talk.
Yes.
Today is a very special, something that we both didn't anticipate happening, but it's happening
It's
right
here.
now.
It is.
And this is it's something that we're both going to be releasing to everybody on both of our channels, and you can make sure that you can listen to it any which way that you listen to podcasts.
Check it out both times,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, listen to it there so they
Listen
can
to it twice.
listen to it on mine so I
Once
get the
forward,
views.
once in reverse.
Send it to a friend and then send it
Right.
to your mom and have your mom send it to her friend.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get it started. Carlos, I'd like to introduce you to our listeners and to those that are visiting here that don't know. You've been in the food game for 10 years.
Yeah.
And that actually popped off with your lovely display items here, Aunt Nee's.
Yup.
Why don't you give us a little history about Aunt Nee's and how you got to busting off pop-ups all around the city?
I started off the food game obviously when I was a kid, I was always cooking in the kitchen with my ma, and then growing up just kind of learning more from really just watching TV and figuring out what else I could do, trying as much as I possibly could. I was always very exploratory with my tastes. I was like the weird kid that liked sushi when I was like 5 years old.
That's what's up. Adult taste, right, as a child, right on.
And then in 2008 into 2009, I was in college, and I was still just, a rough kid in college. I liked to party a lot. And my friend Pat was like, hey, my mom started this thing where it's a dry mix packet that you mix in with tomatoes to make your own salsa. And we've been doing it now as a hobby, but my dad just lost his job, and now this is the only thing that we've got bringing in income to the house.
Okay.
And he was saying, yo, we need help selling this thing so we can make money to really just survive. So him and I hit the road for 6 months, and we buckled down and we did everything that we could to sell this dry mix packet of
Like
salsa.
substance salsa.
That's really what it was, yeah.
in real life, man.
And
I like
Yeah,
that.
right?
Yeah.
and we started selling at Eastern Market, and Eastern Market was the first time that they were ever bringing in people that weren't just farmers or plants.
Oh, no kidding.
Produce,
I didn't
yeah.
know that. Okay.
And we were one of those first vendors to come in with a product that we made at home, and we were loud, man. we were next to there was a stand that was selling trees, and then there was a guy who was selling pork, and it was his first month too, the pork guy. But the guys who've been selling trees, they've been selling for years. And we were just like, yo, try some salsa. You want some salsa? You want some salsa? And everybody there was just like, this kid needs to calm down. This is way too much for the market right now.
I went Oprah on the salsa, man. Like, you get salsa, you get salsa.
So that's kind of what kicked it off, is just, selling chips and salsa, and then it kind of evolved from there. We started doing pop-up a few years later, because being part of the food scene here in the city, I started kind of involving myself more with the restaurants, the local people here, and realizing that a pop-up was possible by just going into basically a bar, restaurant, or even just an abandoned building at the time, and setting up Cerno's, Schaefer's, and just selling some food that you would make for like $5 a plate, whatever it was. And we started with High Five Taco back then.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then I remember one of the very first years of the Fat Kid ride came to a High Five Taco,
nice.
and that was
Shout
super
out to
cool.
Fat Kid.
Shout out to Fat Kid for sure. Guys, what is Fat Kid ride?
You want to come explain? See, shout out to Fat Kid. Y'all have to try it out. Right. It'll be back next year, 2020.
Yep.
But
yeah, over the time, so then I just had the opportunity to kind of involve myself more and more in the Detroit food community. Started with a couple more pop-ups later on. So my friend Miriam and I became friends, and we decided to do the biggest pop-up that we've been doing now, which is Khana, which is a Pakistani cuisine that we've then experimented and done with a bunch of other things now. So we've got just basically influenced Pakistani cuisine that has turned into things like butter chicken nachos, aloo gobi burritos.
With your own little twist on
it. Exactly. It's basically taking the Aunt Nee's products and seeing how we can fit that in is how it started, but now it's just so much more. And then here at Bikes and Coffee, every single Saturday and Sunday morning, you can get Swerve. And Swerve is breakfast burritos served right here starting at 9 a.m.
Yeah, I see.
For a couple of days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right? Shout out Swerve, my boy Merk, who said he's going to be here in a little bit. Him and I have been doing the Swerve breakfast burritos here since March.
Fantastic option on your Saturday and Sunday morning.
Absolutely.
Right. To come to a bike shop and coffee shop and get a fresh handmade burrito as well. But you know what? I want to pause you though.
Yeah.
Let's break all of this. You just said a lot that's going on right there. Let's break this down, starting with Aunt Nee's. And for our listeners and those in house, Carlos is at Easter Market, which locally here in Detroit is actually the country's largest running open-air market in the country.
125 years and running.
125 years. So, I mean, to be a vendor there in and of itself is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been there for 125 years.
right.
But there's some families that have, for sure. I mean, you look at those old farmhouses and they have, history involved, like DeVries, the cheese shop that used to be Our Hurt. And Our Hurt was a farm purchased, built by that family. And it still run by the same family.
No kidding.
They just changed the name, that's all.
Right. So Aunt Nee's is actually showcased and sold at Easter Market, but Easter Market is also Aunt Nee's home base.
Absolutely.
Where you produce these fantastic products. Tell us about how you got to Easter Market and their new kitchen that they opened up, and where you are now producing all of your items.
Yeah, so we actually used to produce these spice packs in Westland at a VFW post. That VFW post was very important to us because that's where we started doing the pop-ups, where we started just kind of getting our kitchen chops too, and figuring out what we could do in a kitchen. And by having worked with the veterans and then helping them out with their events, it was really important to us to kind of be a part of that community. After a while, that post actually needed to sell because it weren't making enough money to actually survive and continue moving forward with the building. So we needed to find a new home. And Easter Market had just got done with their kitchen. So they were like, you guys are already part of the Easter Market community and family here. Do you want to be a part of this kitchen? So we stepped in, and that was the opportunity. That coupled with, it was really like a perfect storm. That coupled with us hearing the news that Garden Fresh was going to be selling to Campbell's was the opportunity that we saw of creating a fresh salsa and fresh guacamole product. Locally for the Detroit community.
Yes,
because
sir.
one thing that a mentor of mine taught me a long time ago is start with your backyard. Own your backyard. Because if you're not part of your backyard, then you're part of nothing.
That's what's up.
Makes sense.
Right. Sell to that 5 blocks, that 6, 7 block. radius.
And build on
start
that.
your family,
Exactly.
start with, you
Find
know.
that 7
Right.
block area in some other city.
Exactly. So I'm fortunate to say that that's been our home ever since, and we've been doing the chip sauce and guacamole out of Eastern Market and been pushing it and distributing it throughout too.
So not only you produce there, but you also sell there, and primarily on Saturday, which is the most known day of activity around Eastern Market, even though they've increased activity throughout the week. But you're doing that on the premises all year from, April through December.
Nuh-uh. 12 months.
Well, I'm saying you're in the outside.
Oh, outside,
Open
yeah.
air.
April to December for sure.
You're outside.
And then like around this time of the year, I'm usually wearing all my snowboarding gear,
Right.
Carhartt
Right.
jacket, everything.
stay warm.
Hat, gloves, the whole everything.
Ready to go.
And then come January, we go inside of Shed 5 where they've got the heated floors now. And back when they first did
It's
that,
luxuriating.
Oh,
my
Yeah,
God.
Shed
Right.
5 is luxuriation, man.
it was
for
hilarious.
sure.
The very first year of the winter market, they called it,
Right.
was inside of Shed 5. And they thought, oh, since it's indoors, it's going to be fine. No. Shed 5 wasn't built for that. They had this giant blast furnace that they had moved in there, and still everybody was dying. It was the first year of that polar vortex. I don't know if you guys remember that.
2014.
Everybody's
You
laughing.
can walk
I
across the
remember
Great Lakes.
that.
And,
Right,
shit,
right.
Remember that? That was wild.
2013.
2012, 2013,
Yeah.
somewhere
Right,
around
right.
there. Yeah, that was a year for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But they've done some good renovations to that shed since. So now, like I said, they got heated floors. If you drop some water there, it's going to be dry in like a minute.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's Aunt Nee's. And briefly, just go over your products of Aunt Nee's so people listening know.
For those of you that are viewing us today, we have here a display of the Aunt Nee's products. And that is, the main products are the medium salsa, the high five, and the tortilla chips. Those are the first two main things that we came out with after the packets. Later on, we realized that we could do the guacamole based loosely off my mom's recipe, and that's the guacamole that you guys see there today. And that's exclusively only sold at Eastern Market. You can only find that from me.
Right. So you got to come physically visit Carlos in the market on Saturdays to get the guacamole.
Yup.
All right, and let's keep it real. You got to get there early. You get there late,
It's gone.
and Carlos is like,
Right. He may
"What
have
up, my
chips
man?
for you, right?
Yeah, he
Like,
might
here's-
have chips.
Take these chips."
Right.
Do you want to try the salsa?
Yeah.
Yeah,
give
your guac's
you-
gone, bro.
Right.
I don't know what you're here for, but we got these. It's gravy.
And being that your kitchen is on the premises, it doesn't get any fresher than from the time you package it to the time it's sold.
Yeah, especially when we're doing things like in Shed 5. I like to say, we're not just from this city, we're from this building. So it's
Yeah.
like, if you know it's local. If you're just, we're standing where you make this. Okay.
Right.
You can literally measure the distance in feet. Like that's the actual proper unit. Like
Yeah.
you're, what are you, 75 feet from where you make it to
About.
where you, yeah. So it's fresh.
Nice.
And good.
But yeah, I mean, around that time too, around like the time where we started doing Aunt Nee's products is around the time where I first met you guys too.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, that was really the kickoff to a lot of different things here in the city. Without you guys, I actually probably wouldn't have met Ben or a ton of other people, because like riding bikes here in the city, being part of the different community, like having met the different people that have ridden with you guys for so long back in like 2009, 2010.
Early.
That was a lot for me, like knowing you guys and having the ability to then just kind of be part of everything that you guys were also had a hand in building.
Yeah, I think we were discussing, the story goes that our friends Beth Joy and Coco had a kickball league.
Yes.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, here comes Carlos rolling up with an arm fist full of snacks. I mean, and who doesn't like that guy and want to get to know that guy?
And that was before the pre-made salsa too. So that was actually me making it before kickball and bringing it in
no
a
wonder.
cooler.
That's what's up. That's what's
Those
up.
are performance
It was
enhancing
wildly
chips
appreciated.
and
Trust me.
salsa, because you help us get through those
Right,
game
right,
2 and
right.
3.
Yup.
And then obviously all of us were involved with Slow Roll, and,
Yup.
and that's how we kind of all really got together and to know each other.
Absolutely. Yeah, big shout out Beth Joy and Coco
Yes,
Swain.
yes.
Yes.
Without them, a lot of us actually probably wouldn't.
DKA.
True story. Yep. DK, Detroit Kickball
Yup.
Association.
Midnight Marauders.
Midnight
Marauders.
Marauders for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
All right, so that's the groundwork with Aunt Nee's. Moving on, being a foodie as you are, you just definitely wanted to share your love of food to the city. You started pop-ups using your product, Aunt Nee's.
Yep.
What was the first pop-up that you had?
It started with the High Five Taco. Oh yeah, you got to dive in. Just keep going on it for sure. We've got these sandwiches sitting in front of us. I know this is Colab Sandwich Talk, Detroit Bicycle.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. But if you need to start eating, you need to start eating.
Looking at it. You want a closer look. I can look at it closer. I got like eye problems. I got the glaucoma.
Got the glaucoma? Yeah, they wrote me the same prescription. So yeah, it started off with the High Five Taco. High Five Taco is kind of where it all kicked off, and it was this big, giant, like chalupa, like Taco Bell chalupa style, like taco. It was definitely not Mexican, but it had some flavor involved that was unique to something that we did. And I remember we sold those tacos for $5 a piece,
no kidding.
which like. Low key, we were losing our ass on it. If we knew what we knew now, I probably would have been selling them for at least $8. But everybody got a deal because they were like big. They were, I don't know if you could see it, but like it's the size of like
Bel Grande.
Yeah, there you go.
Nacho Bel Grande. Right. That might have been a thing, right?
Yeah.
Taco Bel Grande.
That's how we started, and then it just kind of kept going from there. And like I was doing nacho pop-ups. That's something that I was doing by myself, just doing nachos here and there with different friends and stuff. And then I started doing blowtorch nachos with my boy Esteban.
Which is amazing. You get like a half-wheel cheese and freshly torched topping.
Oh yeah, nowadays.
Okay.
Low key nowadays. Right now, if you're available on a Thursday, I know you are. Just for the holidays, we're doing raclette nachos. Raclette is that wheel of cheese that gets melted right up on top, and then we scrape that cheese right there on the tortilla chips. And we're doing that at DeVries in Eastern Market Thursday nights right before the holidays.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So I expect to see all of you tomorrow.
Yeah. Maybe. A couple weeks. Give us a couple weeks. Yeah.
In a couple weeks, the holiday's going to be over. We're not doing that again. Oh, yeah.
I'll get you personally.
All right, cool.
All right, so you started with the tacos and nachos.
Mm-hmm. And then it just evolved from there.
Right. You're involved with what? 3 or 4 different pop-ups?
2 mainstay pop-ups. Kana with my friend Miriam Khan is the larger one that we do kind of everywhere. And then my friend Merk, who's standing right over there. Shout out Merk.
What up, Merk?
What's up, Merk?
Yeah.
Him and I have been doing Swerve now since end of February, early March. And it's been a blast to do that with him because it all started with one day, Merk and I and a handful of our other friends were out in Colorado. And we were like, let's do breakfast burritos for our friends. Merk was like, I got this breakfast burrito idea. It involves jalapeno cream cheese. And I was like, all right, well, just keep going then. Right. Yeah. And that's kind of where it started. And we were like, Ben and I had been talking. We were like, let's see if we can get Merk involved over here. Mm-hmm. And, by giving a friend the opportunity, it's like the whole world then took over.
Now, let's focus on Swerve. You definitely offer a variety of burritos for all tastes.
Yeah.
Why don't you go over that menu that you always have?
All right. So the 3 burritos that we have are the meat, the veggie, and the vegan. The meat and the veggie share the same common ingredients of eggs, jalapeno cream cheese, tater tots, green salsa, and then it's rolled and sealed with Munster cheese. So then when you grab it and you take a bite of it, that boy pulls apart.
Oh,
it's
I didn't
nice
know. Okay. I didn't know there was a sealing involved.
Oh, yeah. You seal the burrito with Munster cheese.
Right, okay.
And
it's
then
hermetic, man. Surgical, bro. You're ready.
And then the vegan one, which has become a huge fan favorite as well, is the same collard greens from the veggie. We do a crunchy, sautéed, spicy chickpea, sweet potatoes, scallions, dill, a vegan cream cheese, and that green salsa. And that is an outstanding burrito as well. What I like to do is actually, so there's those CBD honey sticks that you see over here. You take some of that CBD honey and put that on every bite of that vegan burrito with a little bit of that Valentina hot sauce that we give you.
Here are tips
notes,
for
guys.
you. Right, yeah, take notes.
Yeah, right.
Nice. And then the third one, or did I miss?
So yeah, that was the three. There was the veggie, the meat, and then the vegan. The meat one has a breakfast sausage that I remember Merck and I were talking. We initially it was with bacon, and then we were like, what if we were to do a sausage? We went to a store looking around for like a Bob Evans or like some kind of like breakfast sausage. Lo and behold, just found pork, and Merck's like, I can pound out like a Bob Evans recipe, like replication.
Oh, so it's
and then Merck just like made this
seasoned
homemade breakfast sausage.
What?
Mark Evans out here.
Merck Evans.
Down on the farm.
Shout out.
Down in the hood.
The Woodbridge Farm, yeah.
Right, down in Corktown.
Right. So yeah, those can be found every Saturday and Sunday.
Here
Swerve
at Bikes and Coffee.
Shout
out Ben Kehoe.
Yes, thanks again to Ben Kehoe, please.
Yep. So yeah, those are the two main pop-ups. You know, my buddy Esteban Castro, who runs Esto's Garage, he's been doing pop-ups here in the city for years and years as well. And I remember maybe 4 years ago, him and I were like, we should collab on something. That'd be a lot of fun. And then we decided to collaborate on nachos. And then the Double Dragon nachos came about with a blowtorch, some filling, and some delicious cheese.
Yeah. I mean, it's even a spectacle to witness you serving up everybody because you just can't get fresh, hot, melted cheese displayed any better than coming right off a cheese wheel. I know that's not a new practice, but how did you come about to use that?
I made it up one day. I was like, I need to melt this cheese somehow, and then I looked at like different tools, and I was like, why don't I just get a blowtorch?
Okay.
So I went to the hardware store and I bought a blowtorch.
Just like that.
Yep.
And your cheese selection?
Munster cheese is a Detroit Mexican cheese. Like low key, if you are Mexican and grew up in Detroit, then you ate Munster cheese. But if you grew up anywhere else in the United States or even in Mexico, Munster cheese probably wasn't your cheese. But for some reason, if you're Mexican living in Detroit, it's Munster cheese.
That's what it is.
And I grew up having Munster cheese in my quesadillas, enchiladas, chilaquiles. Like that was the OG standard. And I think that it's because of it's so close to like a Mexican like melty cheese, like a Oaxaca or like a Chihuahua. And that's just kind of how it got its life here in Detroit. Like if you go to Honeybee and you walk into Honeybee, there's a giant refrigerator dedicated to Munster cheese.
Just to Munster cheese.
I've seen that.
That's what's up. I had no idea.
Yeah.
It's not Mexican. But it is in Detroit.
Right.
Have you tried it with the Focus Hope brick cheese yet? That's a delicacy.
That's shaking hands.
Yeah, that government boy. You know, maybe we can get that. You know, that maybe around tax time we'll get that government cheese tax nachos or something.
Low-key, shout out Focus Hope.
Yes,
you know, as a kid, like, we didn't grow up very, very rich at all. You know, we grew up here at like Dixon Verner and then east side of Dearborn. And then like my mom and I, it was just my mom and I growing up, and we, you know, didn't have a lot of money, so we were going to Focus Hope.
Oh, yeah.
So big shout out for Focus Hope to
Tom
supporting
Giovannis.
the families that needed it.
Shout out to Tom.
Shout out to Tom.
Yes.
For real.
Yes.
For holding it down, man.
Doing big things
And
and
everybody on the mic.
helping a
held
lot of
down.
people. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm proud to say that, you know, I am here today because of the love and the care that certain people in that organization have.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
All right. So we covered a little bit of your pop-ups. And you're on video as well as podcast as well, with an effort through Detroit Digest.
Yeah. Where's Sammy at?
I know.
Where's Sammy at?
I
Shout out
recognize
Sammy. What's up?
over there? There he is. That's what's up.
Yeah, me and my friend Sammy, you know, like one day, I don't know how it was for you, but one day I was at Planet Ant. So I do improv with Planet Ant. Big shout out to those guys, Darren Shelton, the whole team over there. I was leaving Darren's office after having actually organized the pop-up festival that we did there this one year, and it was incredible. It was 22 pop-ups in one place. You could walk in and just get pop-up food from any of the major pop-ups in the city. It was incredible. It was Kana, Street Beat. It was a ton of people, and I was leaving the office after planning some things, and Darren was like, "Hey, man." I know you do food. This just came in the email. They're looking for a personality to talk about food for Deadline Detroit. They're wanting to start like a new TV show. So immediately I threw my name in the hat. I did they asked for like a 60-second video of the restaurants that you recommend, like the best rated, or like it was like the best restaurants, and then also like the restaurants that are just like talked about but actually are terrible. And I was like, in 60 seconds, I got this. Dope. So I was like, yo, big shout out to like Marrow and like Nemo's. You know, those places have been holding it down. Like Nemo's one of the best burgers in the city. Bronx Burger, you know, here and there, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, Mario's. I went there once. That steak was incredibly salty. Everybody's talking about how like everything there is fantastic, but it's, in my opinion, if you don't have taste buds, you might like it.
Right.
You know, and so they like that. And I also recorded that video in my van right in front of this shop.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Sent that video out, went and did the live audition, and didn't get a call back. I was bummed. But then 2 months later, they hit me up and they were like, hey, do you still want to be a part of that? And I was like, yeah. So then I went to Deadline Detroit, met Sammy. Sammy was out here already doing it. And then Sammy and I had like an hour in front of a camera, and they were like, okay, cool. You guys are cool together. And we've been doing it together ever since.
Definitely a good chemistry going on.
Yeah, Detroit Digest. Shout out. If you get a chance, YouTube, Detroit Digest. We got a lot more episodes coming up. And then the ones from this year have been a blast.
For sure. Now,
finally.
Finally, another project you're working on, and that's your own thing.
Yep.
Sandwich Talk.
Sandwich Talk.
And we're here at Bikes and Coffee, supporting the pop-up.
Gabriel Hall. So Gabriel Hall. You know, if you're familiar with the Gabriel Brass Band, ever had the opportunity to go see a show, it's an incredible party. This family has been here influencing Detroit with New Orleans sound, New Orleans heart, New Orleans love. And now they're able to do that with New Orleans food. They're opening up Gabriel Hall.
West Village.
In West Village,
Coming soon.
And tonight they're here popping up, and they were able to provide us with 2 sandwiches and then also the turkey chili. 2 sandwiches that they've done for us are the muffaletta and then also the beef sausage po' boy. And we have these sausages or these sandwiches here in front of us to try out. So on Sandwich Talk,
yes,
what we do is we have 2 to 3 sandwiches per the podcast. I usually have just one guest. Today I got you guys.
Yeah.
And we take bites of the sandwich on the air. We talk about the sandwich. We talk about what we love of the sandwiches. But then we also just talk about sandwiches in general. So the first thing that I got to ask you guys is, have you guys had a sandwich yet today?
I have not.
No.
I have not.
No.
All right, so this is the first sandwich of the
I did.
day.
I did have chili for lunch today.
Okay.
No sandwiches.
Does half a pupusa count? There was meat between bread that was flattened.
Is
You know what?
Pupusa a sandwich? Raise your hand if you think a pupusa is a sandwich. For
Yeah,
the record,
no,
if you're
I
listening,
wasn't
that
saying
is
it was.
0
I was
hands.
just clarifying, you know.
A pupusa is not a sandwich.
Yeah,
Good
I
job,
didn't
guys.
think so.
But the one thing that I love about sandwiches is that every single culture has some kind of sandwich. No matter where you go, you can get a sandwich. So it's a perfect line of communication. Food, music, culture in general is the way to really absorb and be introduced to another person if you don't know the written language. And sandwiches are the beautiful vehicle that allows that to happen because we all share that in common.
That's absolutely beautiful.
So,
It really is. I know. Absolutely.
So about like 6-7 years ago, back in my corporate life, I was working in a corporate job at an advertising agency, and we realized that the week between Christmas and New Year's, people don't really work. Nobody's really there.
No.
So we can go out and take a real extended lunch break and go to the sandwich places that we've been wanting to go to. And that's how Sandwich Week started, which is the week sandwich between Christmas and New Year's. We get at 5 different places throughout that week and try a different sandwich from a place that we've been wanting to try. And that's how my whole, I would say, the affinity to bring the life of a sandwich to my friends and family around me had started. And then I started the podcast after that.
And just on the sidebar, we'll get all of your social media and all of your information out there. But you invite the public to offer suggestions and come enjoy sandwiches with you during Sandwich Week. And Sandwich Week, being in the holiday season that we are, is between Christmas and
26th to the 31st.
New
The
Year's.
26th to the 30th. 5
30th.
days. Yeah.
5 days.
26th to the 30th.
And in my opinion, it's the best holiday.
Sandwich week.
Sandwich
talking.
week
Right.
is the best holiday. Yup.
Right.
5 days of sandwich. Oh yeah. And this week or this year we're going to be doing. I've already got everything scheduled out. We've got 2 sandwiches that are being made for us specifically for this week.
Oh.
One is going to be a brunch at Anthology. Josh Longsdorf is going to make a special sandwich just for Sandwich Week at the coffee shop. And then at Mudgie's for the 3rd year in a row, they're going to be making the Uncle Carlos.
Mudgie's. What up, Joe Mudgie's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Uncle Carlos has been different every year, and I'm curious to see what it's going to be this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
There's
it's
the
ever evolving.
Yep.
Interesting.
I told him,
I
just
mean,
make the
is it a-
same one. I don't even care. It's so good.
Right. All right. Well,
But,
we're on your format now. So
Let's do
what's,
it.
what's
Absolutely.
next?
So
What
the
we
first thing
doing?
that we need to do is everybody's got a little bit of sandwich here, right? So I want you guys to grab a half of a sandwich right here. Let's start with the muffaletta. Let's start with that muffaletta right there. Grab that sandwich right there. And everybody just go ahead and take a bite, guys. I want to hear what your first thoughts are on the taste, the flavor, the consistency, how it holds up, everything about it. What do you guys think?
Well, first off, with my mouth full, the crunch of the bread is your very first impression on what the sandwich is going to be about.
Beautifully panini pressed. You get the muffaletta. This is a muffaletta, rather. You get the hot giardiniera in here, which is like an olive tapenade mixed in with carrots, cauliflower.
The batting order is right.
Amazing.
You got the batting order right, man. When my taste buds went through it, it was like 1 through 9.
Right.
Yeah, it was well. Yeah, it's nice.
The cheese, the meats on here. What is this? Mortadella. Actually, I need the rundown on the ingredients if you guys can. So what are the rundown on the ingredients? Mortadella, salami, ham, Swiss, provolone, and
Olive salad.
olive salad. So you're calling it an olive salad. Very cool. Like a tapenade or like a... I always knew it as like a giardiniera, but it's... So this would... Awesome. Beautiful.
And
Thank you very much.
The finish of it with the slight spice is really...
You gotta have that spice.
Right. It's really wanting me to make sure with the second bite that
I want more
I'm
bites.
realizing what I've just experienced. It's the first time.
If this is any indication of what this restaurant is going to be like, I am extremely excited because this one bite alone
Yeah, the
has made me
do-over
want
bite
so
is
much.
awesome. Trust me, you are not disappointed with the first bite.
That
The
heat-
second bite is good.
That heat comes in is like it's like the sprinkles on top. It's like, haha, here you go.
Right.
All right, Bruno, enjoying your next third bite. What are your thoughts?
It's all good, man. Every bite, like at this point, it's like a new things happening in your mouth. Right? I didn't
And
really
it's been
do that
sitting here a
part,
little
but
bit, and it still tastes like amazing. Like it's still like fresh, like fresh off.
The one thing that I love is the oil coming in with the olive salad here.
Oh yeah.
This plays in really well with the bread. Because the bread is panini pressed, it does have the exterior crunch, but on the inside, what I like is that the oil is a little bit absorbed. So you're still getting the crunch on the exterior, but the oil then allows for a little bit of that juiciness to come in throughout too. The cheese is perfect. They both play very well with the Swiss with the nuttiness and the provolone with the creaminess. You've got the meats that all play so well together. This is a good muffaletta.
It is.
You know, I've had muffalettas that haven't been up to par, but this is traditional. This is beautiful. I like it a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the play on between the meats and the combination of meats, the combination of cheeses really, and then the muffaletta, the spice. It's a definitely a new experience that I really haven't had before. So
I'm going to be quiet and eat this because
all right, Bobby, speak up.
No, it literally like melts away because it's about to be gone. But the taste of it is like just smooth, but it's so many flavors all hitting you at
It's
once.
definitely a combination of
Yeah.
flavors for sure.
so to move along with the format, I'm not going to let you finish that. You got to put that down because we got another sandwich to eat.
All right.
I most definitely finished that later. Like we were gonna fight. Like, I'll finish that.
I mean, I'm gonna finish it in a second. Don't get me wrong, but we got to talk about a couple of things too. While you guys are still munching on that too, if you want to keep munching on the muffaletta, I got to ask you all another question. This is a very important question to me, to my friends, to the way that we eat. Guys, what is your favorite sandwich?
Wow, our favorite sandwich.
You can all have a different answer. It's fine.
Man,
I mean, outside of the whisk sandwich, I'm gonna go with the old school. My father used to take me. He taught school in Oak Park, and he used to take me to the bread basket as a kid. And I used to
Okay.
make that with the matzo ball soup, and I thought that was the real deal. And I'm gonna go with this is my go-to. The hard salami onion roll with Munster and spicy cheese and spicy mustard. That was my go-to as a kid.
wow.
You know what I mean? And you would stack it up, and you take half home. You get the new style pickle. You couldn't tell me shit if I had. Yeah, when I had that, like that was my lunch the next day. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was gonna shine in the cafeteria. You know what I mean? I was unwrapping that thing like it was a golden ticket. Like,
Showing out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bobby, you thought about that? What you got?
I guess I'm gonna go back just childhood. You come home from school and you're making that PB&J, you know.
Oh, real simple,
Yeah, the
real
old
classic.
down
yeah,
sandwich.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then as an adult, you know, you learn there are other variations of nut butters, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, you get the almond
And
butter,
jelly, bro.
you know,
You
yeah.
know?
Jellies,
And
yeah,
jellies.
marmalade.
You start grabbing a little
Jam,
more
yeah, right,
left and right
marmalade,
of
like
the aisle.
marmalade.
You could also just do regular butter.
Hey, you know, yeah.
Yeah, low key. Actually, my friend Brian, who I started Sandwich Week with Brian. His favorite sandwich is a peanut butter jelly and hot sauce.
What?
Yeah, yep.
All right,
Everybody's
you know,
like
hey, you
either
know.
shaking their heads or like nodding yes.
Okay.
So I put that shit on everything,
Oh,
like
yeah.
for real.
Legit,
Hey.
Frank's hot sauce, peanut butter jelly
Like-
on white American bread.
I will. I'm curious. I'll try it.
It's good.
Okay.
It's good. And like the OG, like, you know, we talked about like
How
and
much
one of the-
hot sauce are we talking about? Like, are we talking about like a few dabs? Or we like for real?
Laying
hot
it
sauce?
on.
that's up to you.
Okay.
I like hot sauce, so
I do too, but peanut butter and jelly. I'm gonna try it.
try it.
I'm absolutely gonna
Start
do it, man.
light, so you can just get the flavor
And work my way up.
And then once you realize it's the best,
Yeah.
Are we using
Oh.
Load it
Franks
up.
or we?
Yeah, Frank's.
I think we
is-
talked about like Frank's
straight up
Frank's
Frank's.
the
Right,
standard.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
and then like just OG, like taking a peanut butter. Like okay, let's say you have. Remember when you were growing up and you just had that one piece of bread? You just take that one piece. You do a little bit of the peanut butter on one side, a
Yeah.
little bit of the jelly on the other side. And you do
fold
that
it.
fold, man.
Without tearing it. You had the bread taco, bro. The peanut butter and jelly taco.
the bread taco.
That's exactly what that shit was.
And you know what? If you put too much jelly, though, it all just comes out
right. It
anyway.
came out the
Right.
sides,
Right.
dude.
Right.
That's why you need that paper towel there below it because you know you're
Indeed.
not gonna get a plate dirty.
No. No.
No, when
no,
you're making a
no.
PB&J, you don't get a
Yeah,
plate dirty.
right.
No plates.
No way.
You get the paper towel. You get a little bit of the jelly on the paper towel, enough for to eat the jelly off of the paper towel when
Yeah.
it's done. Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So PB&J, old school.
yeah. I'm going
Very
old school.
cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
All right. It's real tough to pick a favorite sandwich. Just to lay that out there. But if I'm feeling indulgent and I'm spoiling myself, I think a nice corned beef on rye with some fresh, crisp coleslaw and slather of Russian dressing.
Whoa, you're a slaw boy.
Yeah. I'm not a kraut guy.
Wow.
I prefer slaw.
You're
Yeah.
either slout or craw.
Right.
I mean, slaw or kraut. Sorry. I can't talk right now. But I am curious. So we've got a handful of people in this room. Raise your hand if you're a slaw person. Okay. Raise
Oh,
your,
the majority.
raise your hand if you're a
Right.
kraut person. Wow, that's...
Which do you
Majority is going
which do you
slaw.
prefer on
Majority
corned beef
slaw.
sandwiches? Oh. I'm a
The
sourdough
acidity
guy.
from the kraut or the slaw. So I'm a
sourdough
kraut
or
boy,
rye?
through and through.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna interject, man. Like there's a different sandwich. This one's like off, like it doesn't count on the scale. The after's the St. Patrick's Day parade. That corned beef sandwich, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like can that one get a pass? Like that's like D, all of the above.
By that time,
you're like,
well, by that time
corned
of the
beef doesn't
day,
matter.
nothing really matters.
Yeah.
but-
Okay. All right. That one.
What is
gets
that?
a
Corned
pass.
beef on a brick? I'll take it.
Hey, I'm good for that. All right.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong for sure. After a long day, anything
Of
tastes all
parading?
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a kraut boy. I actually am not a huge coleslaw fan.
Just period.
Just period.
Okay.
I've had the rare occasion where I found a coleslaw that I've liked, and it has to be a little bit more vinegary, less mayo based.
I agree. Yeah.
But yeah, like I think what really got me off of coleslaw was that GFS big old hunkin' pail of coleslaw that everybody uses in like the soup kitchen and
Right.
like
Picnics.
or like going to like in high school. You know,
Yeah.
like,
The
oh yeah,
pillow of coleslaw.
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, that fam reunion coleslaw.
All right. Before we move on, Carlos, what's your favorite sandwich?
Man, I feel like it changes, but traditionally I have one sandwich in particular that I always could crave, and it's a specific Reuben.
Oh,
It
okay.
is. It's a Reuben from a place called La Pinguina in Dearborn. And the reason why I like it is because it doesn't have Thousand Island dressing, but instead it has actual thin red Russian dressing on it. Sauerkraut,
We're on the same
Swiss
page.
cheese,
Aside from that crowd, we're
yeah,
okay. All
corned
right.
beef, and Thousand Island dressing like is good, but once again it's like just it's the creaminess that I don't want on that sandwich. I'd much rather have that vinegary amazingness to play in with the rest of it. And it's very buttery. It's extremely buttery.
Yeah.
It's almost overly buttery, but like just enough for you to have like the butter shine on the fingers.
Perfect.
Love that. That's my favorite sandwich. And then low key, a lot of people don't know this about me. I think maybe the mouflette is my second favorite sandwich.
Oh, well, you really.
So you guys did it justice.
Yeah, that's what's
Amazing sandwich. Thank you.
Yes, it's gone.
And we have
about to
one
be
more
gone.
sandwich to eat, guys.
The next one.
This is the beef sausage po' boy. So on here we've got this beef sausage is made in the style of New Orleans with New Orleans spices. Specifically, this is something that I have never seen up here. But then it also has pickles, lettuce, tomato. Looks like a mayo on here, and then that same panini pressed bun. So you guys are biting in right now. I want to hear your thoughts. Oh yeah, you're like, I want to try that too. All right, so first
Crowd
off,
participation.
yep. Bruno, what do you think about that sandwich?
When I get done being happy, I'll let you know. I'm still chewing it. It's amazing. I like the
Surprise.
right. Exactly. Like I bit into it expecting one thing, and then it didn't happen, and I was happy with what part that didn't happen. The pickle, the consistency, the flavor. It was amazing.
This sandwich plays really well together. This is one delicious flavor where you can still pick out the individual flavors, but what you're getting is this full meal right here. This is awesome. The sausage is seasoned so well. Still, exterior crunch on here, internal fluffiness. And then, I wasn't a huge fan of mayo until I started figuring out, the different ways to play with mayo, because unfortunately a lot of people just tend to slather mayo in order to cover up tastes. This is done well. Also, shout out Duke's Mayo. Merck, you introduced me to that Duke's a long time ago, and yeah, Duke's Mayo is a southern mayo, so I don't know what kind of mayo you guys are using here, but it's pretty good.
Again, to second, the spices of the sausage are striking, but not overpowering. It definitely plays, like you said, across the palate with the additional items, including the crunch of the bread, the softness, the pilloriness of the inside of the bread and everything. It's excellent po' boy for sure.
It's like you're watching TV and you see that food commercial, but then you go get that food and it doesn't look or taste like what you were imagining. This tastes like what it is on TV if you were to see it. Like, great. Like, it's pretty good.
Sausage is good. The sausage is real good. You guys all have this one? Yeah, it's good.
And like you said, the mayo plays really well. Very light, but once you get it and when you realize it's mayo, it's really good.
This is, yeah, I like this a lot. Wow. All right, thank you, guys.
Yes.
We're just going to eat here. There's going to be the most boring section where we're just all quiet and eating.
So Gabriel Hall.
Gabriel Hall, big shout out to you guys.
Yes, thank you.
You're doing something in the city that was much needed, in my opinion. The food from the South here that we have has typically been all about, barbecue, handful of other, Southern influenced cuisine. But what we don't have here is Louisiana cuisine. And that's something that I think has been much needed. So thank you guys for bringing that to the table here today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, big
man.
shout out
Really
to Gabriel Hall.
Shout out.
Yes. Woo, woo.
Thank you.
And Gabriel Brass Band for throwing a great party.
All right.
Always. So I also ask on the show, and I want to know from each one of you guys, do you have a favorite cheese, condiment, topping, or sauce?
Oh. Well, I'll pipe up about the cheese. I haven't met a cheese I didn't like for that. So if it's got cheese on it, I'll probably eat it. Sauce was another one.
Yep. Or condiment or topping. Something that, when you think about a sandwich, what do you need?
I would put Frank's up there,
Wow.
hot sauce. I mean, if nothing else really satisfies, Frank's will do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Frank's is just a good hot sauce. Very much like an OG standard hot sauce that I feel like everybody here can get down with.
Right.
It's a standard by
Yeah.
which all other, you can decide whether it's above or below that, but Frank's is a standard by which others can be measured at the very least. But most places have it, so we just, you're like, cool, I got you.
Right.
Right. So my favorite condiment, to be honest, I'm gonna pick vinegar.
Whoa.
Just because it's in everything else.
That is true.
Do you know what I mean? It's just in so many other things, and there are like 26 varieties. All cultures have a type of vinegar. You know what I mean? So it's in all cuisines or influences those cuisines. It seems very, very, very basic and useful. So
Universal.
universal, yeah, and it crosses so many cultures. So
Do you ever do malt vinegar on fries?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I have some friends who do that. I just look at them, but they do it.
I also have friends that do that.
I just look
Yeah.
at them, but it's cool. But I've also put balsamic vinegar on ice cream as a kid. So
Whoa.
Whoa.
I mean, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a thing.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, I will show you after the show.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, malt vinegar on fries. I've never been a fan.
Yeah,
It just
Really?
I do stare at the guy who does it. I'm like a puppy who hears like a sound for the first time.
Well-
Like my head turns. I'm like, that's small.
Well, when in
vinegar.
Canada, I mean,
Oh, that's poutine, isn't it?
yeah.
What's
Well, they
that?
do malt vinegar as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, it's a British thing, right? It's a
Yeah,
UK
right.
thing. I don't know.
With their chips.
Not for me. Sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not
So
fries.
what's
It's
up,
chips.
Bobby?
Mustard.
Yup.
Love mustard. All
Let's
of
hear it
it.
for the mustard.
Yeah. Love trying various flavors of mustard. That's because the variety can go crazy. You can get the regular French's, or you can go honey mustard, the hot mustard. If it's mustard sauce, I'm putting it on it.
Even the powdered kind where you can
Oh,
like
cook with it.
Yeah,
Oh,
you cook with. I mean, even that's
Yes.
good stuff. And there's a variety there as well.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
No,
Right.
but mustard, I mean, if you're having coney dogs, it's been the staple, and then you just start from there and you expound on it. But
Like, are you okay if you get a bucket of fries and the only condiment is mustard?
Yep.
I'm gonna make it work.
Okay.
I'm going to make it work.
That's
yes.
gonna that's gonna happen.
Okay.
Yes, it's
All right,
going
yeah.
to. Yes.
I ain't mad.
I've been there. You know, you run out of the ketchup. You're like,
not
hey,
mad.
let's
All right.
experiment.
Yeah,
So,
I've been known to just do mustard and ketchup with
Hey,
fries,
yeah.
all in one like little like
Sure.
swirled up sauce, or just mustard. To be honest with you, I like mustard a lot. Yeah. Good call.
Mustard is cool. And in Detroit, it's really cool because like every coney comes with it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like the it comes with it. It's like the interior.
You know, that's a beautiful thing about Detroit is like we are a city that has a staple called the coney, something that is unique to Detroit. We don't have diners here. We got conies, and it's cool. It's like you roll up to any one of these quote unquote conies and get diner food that you would at a regular old spot, but you also got the coney and a bunch of other Greek favorites.
Yeah.
And I love that. But like on the show once we had it was Nosh Pit, and Nosh Pit does all vegan sandwiches, and they insisted that the hot dog is a sandwich. Is a hot dog a sandwich, guys?
Absolutely not.
Well,
What? It's a white person taco, is what we heard from the crowd.
I think it's important that a sandwich have two separate pieces of
Two
bread.
distinct pieces of bread.
Right.
Well, I
Is
mean,
that necessary?
I don't know because
I
you
don't
think
know,
about a
because
sub sandwich.
I buy the Old World sandwich down at the fish shop in Eastern Market. That's
what
a
I'm saying.
staple in my real life. And I go down there, and that's a pita with, 5 kinds of different sausage, and that's a sandwich, bro.
Is that a sandwich or is it a wrap?
Now that's a sandwich, and I would say a wrap
That's
is
a sandwich. We're gonna fight after the show.
In my opinion, the reason why a
It
hot
says
dog
sandwich on the board. That's what I pay for.
is a hot dog is because the construction of those ingredients together, be it sausage plus that style of bun together, has been considered a hot dog. That's what it's called, that's what it's been, and that's what it's
Right.
going to be.
It's like
And
a
if-
sub-genre to me. Like it doesn't. It's like you have the ingredients, but you're over here on the sidelines. Like it's not. No, it's not a sandwich.
Like if somebody were to be like, "Yo, I'm gonna go grab a bunch of sandwiches. You want one?" You'd be like, "Yeah," and then they come back with 10 hot dogs.
Right.
You'd be like, "Yo, I mean, I'll take it, but like I was expecting something different."
This is not what we talked
This is
about.
not a
exactly.
sandwich.
Right.
Yeah,
You
for sure.
communicate effectively.
Absolutely.
I agree.
But huge fan of the Coney dog. Definitely something. It's a part of our history here, and I love it. I love a good Coney. Yeah. Now I'm thinking about Coney dog.
All right, so Gabriel Hall has one more thing for us to
Yeah.
try?
The one more thing. It's not a sandwich, but it's the third thing on the menu here as part of their pop up, and it's their turkey chili. So turkey white bean chili, I believe. Something that we got here in this warm to go cup here. We've got 4 spoons. Let's just go ahead.
Snap.
Spread the word here. Go ahead and dig into that, guys. It smells amazing. That's the smell that's been engulfed. Oh, thank you very much. It's another. We got 2. All right, cool. And the smell when you walk in here, you smell this chili. Wow,
Smells Cajun. You know what I'm saying? It's got like
absolutely. Those Cajun spices.
that right off in your nose.
Oh yeah,
And
so
before
this
you even bite it, man, you know what
certainly,
you're getting into.
yep. And I'm, before my bite, I'm just checking it out. And I mean, it's definitely hearty for
It's
sure.
extremely hearty. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's delicious. The turkey is perfect. You've got it's juicy. It's a dark meat. It seems like. And then the vegetables interact with it very well too. This is all one cohesive, delicious bite.
It's very good. Oh, and now the finish of it, the Cajun really speaks to me right now.
Yeah, you got the heads up with the smell, and then after the chili, you got the this is what we
Yep.
were reminded
Welcome
you
to
of.
the South.
Right.
It's been a debate, and most recently a debate amongst my friends here. Some of them are actually here, of whether or not you put beans in your chili. I can count right now 3 people that will yell at me if I say that I don't put beans in a chili, because you guys just had a chili cook-off over at 8 Degrees Play-Doh.
Oh, yeah.
And it was mandatory to put beans in it. Oh, it was
Okay.
optional, but five out
Five out
of
of
six
six had beans.
put beans in it. Wow, that's huge. I'm a no beans in my chili kind of guy when I make it for myself.
How did that one place without beans?
Did it win?
Not in the
Not
top
the top three.
Oh, so add beans to your chili if you're trying to win.
man.
You want to win? Put the beans in.
Schedule that first date later down the calendar. That is not the first date chili.
I'm going to go ahead and shout out Merck and Jenny again because they actually walked away with the People's Choice this year. So congratulations, guys.
Nice.
Shout out, man.
Nice.
Yeah. The judges selected a different chili as well. But the People's Choice winner is standing right here and makes burritos every Saturday and Sunday. So if you're looking
Swerve.
Right in the very spot, man.
Swerve.
yeah, I really like this chili. This is great. Like I said, if this is any hint of what we've got coming in for Gabriel Hall in the future, I'm really excited.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Just a touch of Creole in every dish. I mean, how can you go wrong?
Absolutely.
I mean, spices are on point. I think, like I said, it's hearty. The aroma attracts you, and your taste buds satisfy you
Yeah.
after you're done with it.
I know that our time's running out here, but I got a couple of things coming up this season that I want to make sure you guys are all
Please do
can
tell.
come be involved with, be a part of. This Thursday and then next Thursday, I had mentioned that we're doing the nachos, the raclette nachos at DeVries. If you get the chance to come out, please do. Like I said, it's this warmed up, delicious, incredibly melty French cheese that we put on top of the tortilla chips and then garnish with onion, cilantro, your choice of salsa and hot sauce, and jalapenos. So come through.
Carlos, please reiterate to our audience in front of us and listening about where we can find you, information about Sandwich Talk, Detroit Digest, your Sandwich Week. Give us a lowdown.
Yep. That's not the only event that I got coming up, though.
Oh.
You think that's it?
No, I know better than that, but yes.
Guys, always.
Right, always.
So the other events too. Friday the 20th, Khana, the Pakistani
Yes, I forgot about Khana as
influence
well.
pop-up that we do. That's going to be at Urban Rest, and that's going to be a full menu, a bunch of unique dishes like the curry that we do on top of rice. Very delicious vegan coconut curry. It's fantastic. We've got the butter chicken nacho sliders, a bunch of different stuff that we got coming out too. On every Saturday and Sunday, like I mentioned, Swerve, come through for burritos. Swerve. And then the biggest thing, the reason why I do this podcast is Sandwich Week, and that is from the 26th to the 30th. You can contact me, follow me on Facebook or Instagram for the information for that. So if you want to find me, my Facebook is just my name. Real simple. You just search Carlos Parisi. That's Parisi. It's like Paris with an I at the end. And then my Instagram is Carlos_Parisi. So just stay tuned, find out more information about the events that we have going on, find out information about Sandwich Week, find out information about my life, because sometimes I talk about that if you want to be involved. But then, if we've got something else going on, I'm sure you can contact me for it too. Today, so I have sponsors. I'm very fortunate to say that I have sponsors for Sandwich Talk.
Nice.
One of our sponsors for this season has been a beverage sponsor, and they're called Casamara Club. Non-alcoholic Italian Amaro-inspired beverage, based out of here in Detroit. Big shout out to Jason Lavella, amazing guy. He moved here from New York to start this company, and he's done a great job in doing it, really promoting the business and promoting it across not just Detroit, but he's now across the United States.
Nice.
And they've been a great sponsor for us, so I want to thank him for his sponsorship for this year. And then another sponsor that has been part of every single episode has been my company, Aunt Knees.
Yeah.
You can find
Get back
Aunt
to
Knees.
basics, man. Get back to where you started from, bro.
You can find Aunt Knees in stores all across Michigan. Whole Foods
Whole
carries
Foods,
us.
Kroger's, I
Kroger's got our
understand you're
chips.
back on it now.
And then you guys are going to go home with some Aunt Knees, but also one lucky member of the audience today is going to go home with some Aunt Knees too.
Oh, snap.
So me, she said. Me. So I do have. Let me think here. All right, I got one question, and the first person to give me the answer is going to go home with a chip and a guacamole today, and the salsa of your choice. All right. The question is, in which year did I start working at Eastern Market?
2010, no. 2012, no.
Nope.
Ooh,
9.
Oscar wins.
Oscar.
2009.
10 years in the game. I said it.
Oscar wins. Come up and claim your prize, my friend. You get a bag of chips, a guacamole, and a salsa of your choice.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out, hanging
Thank
out
you.
with
Thank
us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, guac, a
bag,
chip,
and
and
a
a
salsa.
salsa.
Grab you a salsa, man.
Absolutely.
Get the
All
trifecta.
right,
Man,
cool,
look
cool,
at that,
cool.
see?
And the rest of that is going home with you guys. Thank you guys
Nice.
very much for being
I
on
got
my
that guac.
podcast.
Fight.
I'm calling it right now.
Let me sharpen this up real quick.
Thank you for being on my
Got
podcast.
that for you.
Thank you guys for allowing me to be on your podcast.
No, thank you,
This has
sir.
been
Oh,
cool.
wait.
Oh.
We definitely appreciate
Oh,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right,
We
I'm
got
sorry.
we got 2 more
Back to you
segments
guys,
now,
yeah.
right? For on Detroit by Cycle. You know, none of our guests can. Oh snap! We got thievery going on.
We're
With,
about to have wrestling here in
right.
Bikes and Coffee.
So all of our shows, if you are a listener of ours, you know that we try to relate our guests with our 3 things topic. And for this week, based upon the OG of Carlos Parisi, the Aunt Nee's chips, our 3 things is our favorite tortilla chip topping.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby, why don't you lead us off?
You know, we keep it simple around here. We're going to go with
All right, you got a bag of Aunt Nee's chips.
Yeah,
The
what you
game
throw-
is on.
What's the first thing you throw in?
I'm putting the raggedy ass nacho cheese sauce on my shit.
The yellow,
Sprinkle
yellow.
cheese. That sprinkle shit where
It's
you
the
gotta
fake-
sprinkle
it's
it
the super
and
fake.
shake
We
it off
all-
the
yeah.
bottom. And then it's stuck to the bag part.
Get that
Yeah,
butter
I throw
knife
that
out
shit-
and you scrape around.
It comes in like a number 10 size can from
about?
GFS.
Yes,
That's
yes.
a-
When you
that's
crack
a-
it open,
that's
you
a
just gotta
hold it down
scoop it up.
staple.
It comes out one big glob.
Hey, this is a no shame circle.
You put it in that crock pot, you
so
heat it
you're
up.
quite all right to pick.
You're in the trust tree, bro. You're in the trust tree here.
That hood fondue going on.
You're in the trust tree, bro.
Right. I ain't mad at the fondue.
Get that hood fondue cheese. That's what I want on my
All
nacho.
right, Bruno.
Dude,
What would be
I
your
gotta honest,
go-to?
man, I'm not too far off, dude. I was thinking about the gooey cheese. Like the stuff you can dip it in, like you get at the ball game. You know, like the
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't know what you even call that.
All
I don't
the
even think
cheese
it's
sticks to
cheese. I
one
don't think you
chip.
can call it that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like the
Yellow
stuff
traditional nacho
you
cheese.
dip it in. It's like wet already. It's not like it's not like you got to microwave it to make it like turn into like a snowflake on your shit.
Come out the can hot.
Yeah. I don't even know what that's called, but that's what I'm calling. That's what I like. For real. That's some shit.
Well, for the record,
That's not the technical term.
but we know what you're
Okay,
referring
all right. I
to.
communicated effectively. Thanks.
Very good. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, my go-to does have cheese on it, but I'm like a 7-layer dip kind of guy.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
So I like to get all the flavors of all the favorite things.
I don't even know what the 7 layers are. So we got beans.
We got beans, we got guac, we got cheese, probably sour cream, probably onion, tomato, which I pull off.
you can order it without
lettuce, right?
Is it lettuce?
So yeah, it is.
Yeah, shredded lettuce.
So that's
yeah.
7 layers right there.
Technically, he's down to 6 though.
Right, technically it
you're
is
down to
6.
6 layer.
Right.
The
Yeah,
chips
no-
is a
no
7
debate.
But
layer.
it's commonly known that if I said 6-layer, people would be like, "What the hell is a 6-layer dip?" So I
Yeah,
just
no, I
say
understand. I'm with you.
7-layer dip.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'll figure. Oh, salsa.
Yeah.
Salsa's
Oh,
in
salsa.
there.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there you
right.
go.
We could
For
take
sure.
the tomatoes off, put the salsa.
Put them back on.
and I'm good.
I mean, tomatoes can be part of it too. Whatever. I
Right.
mean,
Juice.
you do all kinds of different. Really, a 7 layers. 7 layers
There
of whatever
are.
you
I'm
got.
weird
You
like
got
that.
peanut butter. You got jelly. You got hot sauce. That's 3 layers right there. 4 is pickles. I don't know, man. Just do you, right?
All right, Carlos, I think I know what yours is. Why don't you tell our listeners in front of us and on their speakers what your favorite.
So traditionally, my mom would make the best guacamole. And she's known across her circle of friends for making the best guacamole. It's almost offensive if somebody else goes to a party and tries to make guacamole that isn't my mom's. Because everybody knows my mom is going to bring the guacamole. Because my mom's guacamole is the best guacamole. So I'd have to say my mom's guacamole specifically is my favorite thing for a tortilla chip.
Nice.
Second, any guacamole.
Okay.
Well, good guacamole, because you can't have that store-bought stuff.
Right.
Word.
But yeah, mom's guac, for sure.
Yeah, you went home team.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, I went like
keeping it tight.
Yes.
Shout out, Mom.
All right, before we let you go, the last thing we put all of our guests through is sort of a hot seat where we like to get to know a little bit more about our guests on a personal level, and also allow our listeners to get to know you better as well. So collectively, we've come up with 5 questions that we think would give a nice round package on what is all about Carlos.
Very cool.
The first one, describe your first bike or your first favorite bike.
All right. The first bike that I got, aside from a tricycle when I was a kid, or the big wheel, was, by the way, that big wheel got stolen in front of my house, and I was real bummed out about
The
it.
big wheel got
Yeah,
stolen.
the
know
big
about
wheel
that
got
big
stolen.
wheel,
Yeah.
That's a
So if anybody
reoccurring-
sees a big wheel out there, it's mine.
Right.
All
Did-
right.
Did it have the flat spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, flat spot. And the
flat
front
spot
wheel
was
had to
big.
be breaking, like it had to be split.
Yeah. Flat spot because the ground was too hot in the summer, so it just sat out for too
Right.
long. Yeah.
Right.
And it was yellow, red, and black with the wheel.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, but my first bike that I learned to ride on with the training wheels and then that came off was, I think it was purchased from maybe a Kmart or a Toys R Us, but it was a Ninja Turtles bike. And that boy came with the Ninja Turtles little spoke clips that, 4 turtles, 4 clips. And every time you would ride, those clips would move across the spokes. And that bike I remember very well.
Who's your favorite ninja? Yeah.
Raph.
Raphael.
Raphael.
All right.
Wow, he
Nice.
went off the grid. Most people go Donatello, Michelangelo, but Raphael.
Yeah, Raph or Mikey, really. Those two are great.
Right.
Mikey's got his thing, Raph's got his thing. I don't know. Yeah,
It's a toss up there.
yeah.
All right. So we know that you're a cyclist. Describe what your favorite ride would be. It could be destination. It could be location. It could be just a feeling that's going on within
Company
you.
you're with, or
Right.
whatever, right?
Oh man, company I'm with for sure. I love going on solo rides for sure. It's definitely something, especially when you need to clear your head and you need to get out there and just kind of feel it. Feel the air hit your face, hit your hair. Depending on the day, hit your arms. Unless it's cold outside, then you want those covered up. But there's really no better ride than a good ride with your friends. A good ride to Belle Isle. When you know it's a summer day, you got a Sunday ahead of you, you really don't have much to do. Everybody just rides out, sits on the beach, posts up, hangs out, gets a little bit of a sunburn, then rides back and does a barbecue or something like that. That's a good day. My favorite solo ride is usually just a quick one. It's so I live over near like Honeybee Market, and riding there and then doing you do Jefferson, where it comes up over by that Riverwalk area off of like Rosa and Fort Street. Comes off of there, hit Jefferson, do it real fast, go right by Joe Louis Arena, turn right there at Steve Eiserman Drive. And instead of going onto the Riverwalk, you keep going on Steve Eiserman Drive underneath the Kobo, through there, and then up that hill. And you got to crank it up that hill.
Right.
Hammer it good. And then once you get up that hill, you hit the Rensen, and right there you just kind of stop and stare, and you think to yourself, I want to go back down that hill.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's a good solo ride that I like to do myself. pretty often.
So a familiar response to this next question typically happens after you get a license. All right, everybody turns 16, and the only thing on your mind is really just driving. Getting on four wheels,
Yeah.
and
Right.
just doing what you do.
Right.
But what brought you back to bikes and cycling?
So my great uncle, amazing man, his name's Uncle Sam. He passed away probably about 10 years ago now. And he had been riding a bike, an old cruiser. Was it a Huffy Good Vibrations? He had been riding that bike up until maybe a year before he passed away. And he was always, in pretty decent health and condition because he rode that bike. No matter what time of the year he was on a bike. And even after I got my license, later on, I would still, end up going on a ride with him every once in a while. And then coming here to the city, after he had passed away, I had that bike too. And then I had like a road bike that was terrible. But being out here and then having the ability to ride with, you guys and, riding a kickball, that's kind of where I had a little bit more of the love and the passion to get on these long rides again. And, I haven't looked back since.
That's what's up.
And it's cool because, like, we got a friend like Ben Kehoe out here.
Doing it.
He's put together bikes for a lot of people, and I remember sitting down with him one day, and we were talking about just getting me a better bike because my bikes were always terrible. And then he had told me about Fairdale, and like this is before the shop, well before the shop. And he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna order a bike from these guys. Do you want to order one with me?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I ordered that Fairdale Parser, single speed, perfect bike for the city. And that bike just got me better at riding, considerably better.
Yeah, having a single speed definitely almost makes you unison with the bike because you're definitely getting the results of your single effort to every pedal stroke that you do.
Because every bike that I had before that was trash.
Nice.
And every bike that I've had after has been good.
Right. We level up.
Once you know the standard, we're going back down. We're not going down.
All right, one of our favorite, more popular questions with the three of us is, what would be your favorite Detroit flavor? Now, it could be literal because you are a food guy, but it could also be emotional. It could be a physical. Take it wherever you want to go.
If you want to talk food, I could talk food all day, obviously. But I feel like this is a little bit more of a larger, heady question. If you want to say like emotional, I'd have to say the flavor and the culture of Detroit. This culture has been strong since the inception of this city, and every single layer of paint that's been painted on this city's canvas ever since has made this city into something way past to where people thought that it could be evolved.
No doubt.
You look at a city like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, they all have their differences. But if you come in here and you try to make Detroit any of those cities, it's just not going to happen. Detroit is different. Detroit has a love, it has a spirit, it has an intense passion behind it that you need to come and understand to be a part of it.
Indeed.
So it's that culture. It's everything that Detroit has had, be it the music, the food, the layout, the smells, the structure of the city.
Uniquely Detroit.
Absolutely.
Nice. Now, with Detroit being on the mind, sky's the limit, and you had one wish. What would your one wish be for specifically the city of Detroit?
Okay, so thought about this before, and you think to yourself, like a lot of people think, I wish I missed the old days of the city, and I wish it was kind of the way it was before. But at the end of the day, this city has a lot to evolve still with, and a lot of areas to grow. You think about the ideas of like something like mass transit. mass transit could have definitely been a thing here, and it could have made the city completely different, whether it was with the involvement of the subway system in 1919 and that having not been passed, or the trolleys being ripped out by the automotive companies and us not having that kind of mass transit anymore, or the freeways tearing up the neighborhoods.
Right. The freeway ribbons.
Yep.
But when it really comes down to it, the city that we have right now is special. And if we were to change one thing today, and after today, everything were to be changed, I would say that would be the education system that we have here in the city.
Absolutely.
Preach.
Yeah. I mean, you got to water the seed.
Absolutely.
Oftentimes people come on from all different places, man. People from parks projects, or people that come on from like yourself from the food culture. People from education. They at the end when they say what does Detroit need, and we consistently get back to we need better schools.
Yeah.
We got to water our seed here, because what are we gonna do?
Right.
What are we gonna do?
We have to, put ourselves in a better situation
We
for
gotta wake our children up.
future. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We have a lot of incredible talent in this city, a lot of incredible people that I want to be here and be part of this city forever. But if you end up having a kid and you notice that you need to leave because you can't afford privatized education, then that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And if we actually have a public school system that works and that could make this city truly grow from the ground up with the youth that need it, then I feel like that's a change that just needs to happen.
The effort is there, and Bobby can attest that there's activity that is trying to encourage that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Like
Big shout out to the people that are a part of it right now, working on it for sure.
Yeah.
You're one of them.
Yeah,
You guys
and
have been
it's,
killing it.
I've seen, full disclosure, work for the public school system. Being in there, and when I started, as opposed to right now, it is getting better. It's gone through some big changes and transitions with folks, and semi-state trying to take over things. But now that they're out of that and they really have full control over the decisions that they want to make, and people who are willing to get behind them and help see that vision come through, I can attest that it is getting a lot better.
I mean, granted, there's a lot more.
Like this year alone,
to
or this
come.
school year, 5 new schools opened up.
That's what's up.
And I don't think that's like being publicized that much, but there were 5 brand new schools opened up, and I was there to see it happen, and they're functioning, and it's good, The culture overall has been changing, and people are starting to get behind it, and that's what you need. You need those folks to be able to believe and to buy in for it to be successful.
Right.
And they have a good plan. Like, you don't want to buy into a bad plan, but I think the plan that they have is very good. And it's just going to take time. It took time to get into the mess. It's going to take some time to get out of
Time
the mess.
and effort.
Yes.
And backing.
And neighborhood commitment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It takes a village. Like, you can't just rely on the school system alone. Like, it takes a little part of everybody to get involved to help change that. You have to want to see that change. And if you're not going to be a part of it, then you're hurting.
You're part of the problem.
Yes,
Right.
Right.
yes.
Yeah, get out the way.
Right.
Yes. Yes. But no, I'm with you. You have to have a successful public school educational system to help any city grow.
Yep. Nice.
So yeah, big shout out to the people that are part of it right now, helping the changes happen.
Yes.
So, everybody's doing their part. But if you're supporting, then you're definitely doing your positive part too.
Carlos, all you do, all you're involved with, thank you.
Thank you guys.
We really appreciate
thank
you coming on this show, Detroit Bicycle, and even more so, collaborating with us with the Sandwich Talk.
I appreciate you
Sandwiches
guys
were
being on my
delicious.
show.
Yeah, that's what's up.
This has been really cool.
It really just happened,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
It just went down.
Right.
It's so awesome.
It happened. We did it.
We did
All
it.
right, cool.
Amazing.
You guys
Right.
were all part of it too.
Yes, thank you
guys
all
very much.
for our live audience here today.
I want to thank everybody here for being a part of it. Huge shout out to Gabriel Hall.
Gabriel
guys.
Hall,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
do.
Really excited and waiting for your opening for sure. And then above all, Bikes and Coffee, Ben Kehoe.
Kehoe.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Holding it
a
down.
major
Yes.
supporter for us.
Yeah.
and allowed us the space to come here.
He got his toes in the sand. That's where he at.
I think I think
Okay,
he's
that's cool.
enjoying a little sunshine.
He's getting out right now on a huge bike ride in Austin, Texas.
That's what's
and
up.
he needs that. You know, he needs to stretch those legs.
Right.
Shout out to Vince for holding it down for him
you,
in his
Vince.
part too. Vince
Thank
has
you,
been here
Vince.
making all the coffees.
Tolerating us.
And just let Ben know that we're not burning the place down.
No,
No,
yeah.
no.
Give him a call when we leave.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect.
The
So,
before
yes.
picture.
Right. Thank you, Bikes and Coffee and Ben and all your support and assistance to putting this, trifecta of collaboration together.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And this is a bonus. We've had some responses on like more episodes. Who doesn't like a bonus episode?
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Just in time for Christmas.
Look out for more. There may be more bonuses in your future from Detroit Bicycle. For
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
And sandwich talk.
And sandwich.
And Sandwich Talk Collab.
Oh yeah.
As you all know, we are Detroit Bicycle, where we are all about the love, benefits, art, culture, food, and the people we meet on bikes here in Detroit and beyond. Thank you for tuning in.